Alright guys, so now we're going to get into kind of more tracing and creating or going from a pixel or a Photoshop file, if you will, or a photo, and creating a vector file. So what you see on your screen, which is the same, you have this file with you, it's called tracing.ai. It's a hand sketch of this robot head. And you can see this is a vector file. This is exactly what I meant. Like when you zoom in, you just see a bunch of little dots, right? And so the quality is not good when you want to come in this far in, and especially if you want to use it as a logo or things like that, you definitely want to vectorize it. So this is just an image. It's basically a photo that you can drag into Illustrator. And then I have this birthday card, or at least Illustrator created this birthday card. And we should actually take a stab at drawing this shape from scratch. But anyhow, we're gonna first now trace this. So you have two choices: either trace it and really do a good job and recreate the whole thing, or you could actually use Illustrator's kind of auto trace function. So once you click on the image, so here's the image, and then you go to image trace, and then it kind of gives you what Illustrator thinks is what the trace is going to be. And also, you know what, before that, let me undo that. I'm going to open up a properties tab here because that'll also give you some other function. So again, I'm going to come in here, and when I go to image trace, you can see under the properties tab, there's different ways of tracing this thing. So if you come down here, there's high fidelity photo, low fidelity photo, 3 colors, 16 colors, black and white logo. In this case, I might want to even choose technical drawing. Oop, no, technical drawing really. Although it's kind of cool actually. So you guys can go through the different kind of presets that Illustrator already has. So line art, black and white logo. I think black and white logo is probably going to be the best one in our case. But let me also show you a couple of other things like low fidelity photo, which will take this photograph and basically created this shape of this light blue, and then created this kind of shape which is kind of the reflection of the phone, I think. So these are all individual shapes, and you can see here Illustrators thought that was like slightly not as dark black as this, so it kind of created another shape on top of that. So but either way though, this might be a cool look that you guys might be looking for, but more importantly, these are all vector, meaning you can see that the edges are super clean even when I zoom in, right? So you have these kind of functions in Illustrator that's kind of baked in. That's quite nice. For our purposes, I think I'm just going to go back with the black and white logo, and I'm okay with that. So a couple of things. At this point, you're still not editable or like usable. You want to click expand if you're pretty confident that's what you want. But once you click expand, that photo actually disappears, and your new trace becomes your new artwork image. So if I click expand, and there it is. So now, that's my new photo, or now my new vectorized artwork. Couple of things. That whole thing is all grouped into one kind of shape or assemblage of shapes. So you can ungroup it, but you could also just select just a portion of it, because right now I'm really interested in just bringing this robot head, right? And so what you could do is you have two things which I didn't get to really introduce to you guys on the prior videos, but you have selection tool and then direct selection tool. And the best way that I can describe these two tools is a selection tool selects everything. So if let's say there was a silhouette of a person, this thing would select the whole person and you can move it around. But let's say you just want an arm or a leg or a head, you want to go to this direct selection tool, which allows you to select only parts of a group, if you will. And then on top of that, I think I want to go here. So you have that allows you to select each individual things, right? And of course, if you want to select multiple items, you can hold down shift and you can go back and select. Another way to select kind of organically, if you will, is this lasso tool here. And you notice that the arrow is filled in just like that one. So it is really a direct selection tool, or allows you to select components. So just come down here and kind of lasso in the area, and that selects only that part. At this point, I'm going to go Control C and then Control V. Before I deselect anything, I'll move it around. But you can see that this is all still, individual pieces, right? So I'm going to just now select everything and group them. Oh, you know what I want to do though? There's a white box back here, and I want to get rid of that. You see how it just has assemblage of shapes? And I want to get rid of that because I want this robot to be see-through, so that I want to see this blue background. So then now I'm going to select everything, group them. So now it'll act as one item, which you can reduce. Again, depending on the the artistic style, this is kind of cool because it's not a perfect circle. It looks kind of hand-drawn-ish. You can see that this is not a perfect rectangle. So it actually looks kind of cool, and kind of looks hand-drawn, but it's also vector, meaning the edges are not made up of a bunch of pixels and dots. Or, you guys could go and draw it. You guys have the other example of the robot you drew that has perfect shapes. You can copy that and paste it onto this, right? So it's really, depending on your preference. Okay guys, so let's go on and make these kind of gears and these cogs from scratch, just for fun. We're here anyway. So let me get rid of this thing now. And I guess, is this an artboard? Yeah, I guess it's an artboard. So let's just go ahead and kind of mimic this. So what you want to do is come back in with a circle, any size really, but right here, if you have the properties tab open, it tells you that the circle is 2.56 inches. Let's just make it 2.5. Oops. 2.5. And then come back in here and 2.5. All right, cool. So this is a circle. Let's give it a stroke so we can see it. And then we'll make this little cog, which is basically a rectangle with the with the sides kind of flared out. Let's just take a rectangle here, and then I took the direct selection tool and basically highlighted like this. I don't know if you guys can tell, but oops, these become darker, and these are actually white. There, maybe you can see it better if I zoom out. So you can see it's kind of white here, but this is darker. So it means that I've selected those two kind of vector lines. You see, I can kind of, can I move them? Oh no. I was hoping to be able to cheat and let them grow, but nope, it's not letting me do that. So actually, I think I'm going to do that. Might as well get a little bit fancier at this point, just so that I get perfect symmetry. So I might do this here. I'm not sure if there was a way to move both sides equally outwards. Somebody figures, I'm sure there is a way. If somebody figures it out, please text me or email me. But anyway, obviously there's many different ways of doing something. Let me just go back in here and kind of make this a little bit more aggressive here. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to go to Object, Transform, Reflect, which means to flip, if you will. And then I'm going to do a copy of it. So what it does, it just kind of, you see how it just made a mirror? And then I'm going to kind of jam them together in here. And then take both of these things, go to my Pathfinder, and then combine them. So now I have a cog, right? And yes, it's a little bit skinnier than that one, but it's okay. I don't mind. But, I could maybe do that. So anyhow, I'm going to select both of these guys, and I'm going to align them so that they're aligned to the center. And then bring this guy down, jam it in there. And then now we want to like rotate them like a clock, right? Illustrator has a lot of these little tools. Again, you can just copy, rotate, kind of old school way, which I'll introduce you to later. But there's also another thing called here repeat radio, meaning copy it in a radial pattern. So I click that and it does this. A couple of things here. If you open up the properties tab, the radial circle is 0.18 inches, right? But we know our circle is 2.5. Oops. So I'm going to go 2.5 and see if that works. No, that's the radius. So that's going to be what? 1.25? So math is good for you guys. Again, and then I'm going to take both of these things here and I'm going to center it this way. And then if I come back here, it still remembers it's very intelligent. It knows that it's 1.25 inch radius. I needed 8 of them. At this point I can say I want 12, 10, 50. It'll just give you more equal spacing, which is a really nice function, right? So I'm going to go, oh, actually even numbers. That looks good. So I have that, and then of course at this point, you want to probably combine them all. Oops, it won't do it because I need to expand this group. I have this radial object, which is really cool. This is actually a newer Illustrator tool, so you can, increase it just like the sides. When you have a polygon tool, you can do that way, or you can do this in the properties tab. And the thing is that this is a fairly intelligent object, meaning it's fully editable as a radial. I'm going to make a copy of this. But now what I want to do is I want to combine this guy with the circle underneath it. But because the gears on this thing is a radial object and it is what I consider a smart object, it will not want to combine with the circle underneath it. So what you want to do is you want to select that radial object, go to object, and you want to hit expand, meaning to break it up, right? So now this is just a regular artwork, and at that point I can select all of them together and go to combine, and now that becomes a cog, right? So hopefully that wasn't too complex. And then of course now you have this. You can fill that any color you wish. I'm going to double click it and select the blue. And now you have however many cogs you want. And hopefully you guys don't need me to do a demo to blow a hole in the cog or blow a ring in the cog. A little hint, Pathfinder. Get it done, and hopefully you guys are having fun, and I'll see you in the next video.